what we need to do is we need to learn how the connection works into a laptop and turns the volume on there in the room.
Hi guys, welcome to the and our key project is one of the reasons for each one of those. And we're working with two connected the local community and volunteers the church has given the opportunity to get out there and get everyone involved. The next this
so I'd be really keen to sort of organise sort of a food bank sort of project. I think that a lot of people, when they come to meeting, are always very keen to get involved in volunteering anyway. And I think that volunteering has also making people aware of the benefits of volunteering and like the impact that they have. And so I think that with publicity, a great way to do that would be through obviously having Volunteers Week. And then equally, I think that utilising Facebook and potentially even a new Instagram account could be a great way to further get out the range of volunteering opportunities available.
Right, yeah. For those of you that don't know, I'm Brad. This is a role I actually only really knew fully what it was just before the exams. And the main reason I really wanted to run for this is I kind of want to incorporate into this role a little bit the Neurodiversity Society. And for those of you that don't know what neurodiversity is, it's a very broad umbrella term. I probably couldn't give you a very good definition of it because I'm not very linguistically skilled, as you may be able to tell. But it's generally ways that people's minds work differently. That includes dyslexia, that includes attention deficit disorder, that includes there's such a broad umbrella. Finally, got my diagnosis of ADHD, and for me that has been a really painful thing these 2 years because position so much and that's what I want to bring to this role, a way to represent the people who need representation so much, because to be honest, my disability is invisible. I imagine many of and I talk too much and I'm a bit annoying. The system in terms of diagnosis of things within Durham is very good. It's nothing to do with the JCR, but what I think this role can do is I can help someone through that process because I've gone through it myself. I was turned away. It was such a horrible process, and I feel like it will have actually done a lot of bad in terms of my actual. That's something that can change if we have a nice support network. A support network of, because you would be so surprised how many people this applies to raise awareness for all disabilities, because a lot of people don't even know they've got them. And that's so important, because I went 2 years thinking I was lazy, thinking that it was something wrong with me. And I think that this role needs. At least at some point in the bar, a big sort of, well, I say, maybe about half an hour, we're like, yeah, Jim, I don't know, because it's 2 years since I was at Freshers, but there was things that were being, people were presentation behind them, and they kind of talk about these things, and sometimes, and I feel like having maybe a few people from, because disability is such a broad term, because there's so many different types, and I feel like to get representatives from each one of those to come and talk about their experience in Durham and how to get the ball rolling is really important, because as I said, there's so many invisible disabilities. So, I mean, I feel like I have a bit of a radar for so important. It's probably going to be the least important thing in Freshers to me. It's actually seeing people, talking to people, and letting them know that support is there. You just have to, and you just have to know where it is. A little talk at some point, but I feel like the presence within Freshers and on a one-to-one basis, because I really feel like that's where I kind of thrive, is on a one-to-one basis with people. I feel like that in Freshers Week is going to be. And if I do get this role, I really cannot wait to go to Freshers and part that, incorporate that within Freshers. So yeah. So as you may have, my main sort of expertise within disabilities is, as I said, ones that come under a neurodiversity. But I've recognised it in Disability Awareness Week. It's just, I feel like just thought completely. So yeah, Disability Awareness Week. I'm really excited to do that one in the sense that. Sorry, I've just gone. Can you repeat the word with the question? I'm really sorry. Ideas, I feel like poster campaigns are quite useful in the sense that not many people realise how important they are, in the sense that you see posters, having faces on these sort of posters, and maybe a little quote, then you know that actually there's someone within university that you can talk to. So that's a really subtle aspect. I feel like talks, maybe getting a speaker in, and their experience within you. I think it's such a broad. There's so many different things that we could do, and I actually really think it would be. And I'm not going to have all the best ideas, and I feel like I've got quite a few for that. And feel free to talk to me afterwards about it. But group, that it's really important to open that out to other people and say, right, what do you want within this week? How do you want awareness raised for you? This is your week, sort of thing. And I feel like that a lot of the ideas it's important they don't just come from me, because, as I said, I'm one person, and it's important that we get it as broad as possible. So, thanks.
Okay, so I'll try and be quite quick with this. And for clarity, throughout this host, I'll be referring to non-heterosexual orientations as LGBT+, to address the role's specific focus on sexual orientation and not trans-specific issues, which will be the focus of our new identity rep, whoever that. So basically the idea is that sexual orientation isn't just limited to Pride Month, which is this month, or LGBT History Week. It's actually part of people's everyday lives, and for LGBT plus students specifically, it's often a big part of their lives. So I want to be an advocate for, and this is how I'll do that. I want to ensure there's an open discussion of LGBT plus experiences during Consent Week and Shag Weeks. And this is especially important because 18% of LGBT students to an NUS survey. And I want to be like a point of call for victims to open up and provide resources for reporting these incidences if that's what they want to do. Also, I'm part of in college next year, easy to find because I'll be up here a lot, to approach me and encourage them to talk to me about any questions they have, whether that's about relationships, coming out, people questioning their sexuality, or anything to do with like sexual orientation. And I know a lot of people across. Well, I'm not a gay man, clearly. So I will like use my resources to be able to answer questions and tailor my advice and answers to students who might represent a different demographic from me. I also want to make the college more open to students so that they might feel like more accepted and kind of integrate them into the master to create like an online Q&A in collaboration with the get information that way. Also improve visibility for students that might feel ostracized from the community, such as bi men, bis and straight passing relationships, and asexuals. I've got a lot of ideas, so I'm trying to get through them. I'm also president of Pride Sock and want to make it more carry on LGBT and toast like me, and have a gay version of the Take Me Out that we did with CharityCon. Okay, I've got more ideas, but I think that's me done.
Okay, so this is what we need. The next one, we'll have a question so that we can understand.
these practices. So what ideas or activities do you like to benefit?
But also I've been to the welfare meeting that was, I think, last week. Like working on making a guide to the Durham University gay scene, because freshers, I know I turned up and like had no idea what was out there. I didn't find out what Osborne's was or Grindr until like second term. So I want to do that. Also kind of work with Pride Sock with the taster events. And yeah, like one idea I had specifically was to work with the Rainbow Card Project, where people write cards for LGBT people who might be estranged from their parents because of their sexuality, and to like offer comfort connected to both the community, like in Butler and well, I think it would be important, like we had this year for the first time, Preps had LGBT written on their like Prep outfits. So I think that's important because obviously Preps are everywhere, so it's important to see people just like interacting as part of like the broader community. And with things like the Rainbow Card Project, I'd want to not just have that for the LGBT students coming in, but also have allies and anyone in college to come and support that. And I think that would be a great way for people to meet each other and like to integrate with people throughout the college who are accepting and supportive of like gay students. Well, so far it's during like LGBT History Month in February. So if that date remains, I think it would be great to like incorporate some LGBT history and maybe with various other societies like Film Sock and with the book club as well, maybe having an LGBT or the book that will be like read and try and make sure that it isn't just isolated to like Pride Sock and maybe the LGBT community that's like, but to have like LGBT issues addressed in like multiple societies and across the week as well.
So we just going to talk about the LGBT plus. Okay, if you go to the next slide.
College but in uni. And I'm changing. Although everyone has been really lovely, and I really do appreciate that, it is still just a bit like weird to have people that don't know the correct language and terminology to use, and then I have to correct them when I'm not prepared to. So that's kind of what I want from my dentist rep. Someone who's able to answer any kind of question without judgment, someone who can help those who are questioning their identity, as it is a confusing and isolating process. So just for experience-wise, I'm trans, and I've also been involved with welfare comp all year long. I am very involved in the Trans Association, so I have connections. Something with the webmaster of like an online question, an online anonymous question system, because that is something that I know a lot of people struggle with. They have lots of questions because of the whole, like, all the identities. It's very confusing. There's so many, and it's new. Sorry, it's new for a lot of people, and I just want that to be something that people feel free to question and not feel awkward about. Other ideas. I want to do drop-ins in case people don't like talking online. I want to liaise with other colleges, and then to be Stevo and then some more of the Hill colleges, because one of the most important things is when you're a minority is community, and having a close-knit community close to home, especially for freshers, I think is extremely important. Continue pushing for gender neutral toilets around college and then uni, because it's really annoying not to have them. Continue advocating for trans issues. So during Trans Awareness Week, the association tried to put on a trans pride event. It didn't work. So next year, hopefully, get the college move on with that. Work with friends to do more identity-based campaigns and promote religious space within the LGBT community, because that is part of your identity and something that's very close to my heart. And that's it.
Okay, so I'm going to do today. So do we have any questions?
So as Becca mentioned, we are thinking of doing tea and toast, and what we did this year was we got anyone who's interested and we all just kind of sat around and introduced ourselves. So something like that. Then also